Research shows that over 60% of performance horses suffer from painful gastric ulcers. Loved by riders and backed by research, Smart Gut Ultra provides the ultimate gastric support. Visit smartpack.com/SGU research to learn more.
Well, I'm Chris Dawson, and I'm here with my fiance Sarah Winters, and we're in Bernieville, Oklahoma, home of Dawson Performance Horses. So we're just going to share a little bit about ourselves today. My stepdad trained some cow horses when I was in high school, Jim Jerkowski. And really, I don't know. I think I went to the World's Greatest Horseman in 1999 when Teddy won it the first time. And when I was up there, I was like, you know what, I felt like I was at home. I felt like that's where I belong, that's what I wanted to do. And ever since then, I've just really wanted to train bridle horses and, you know, hopefully make some fraternity horses on the way. Well, you know, to get these horses to do 3 events, and to do it with the limited amount of equipment that we get to, you know, being the snaffle bit fraternity, I mean, that alludes to a smooth snaffle. I mean, that's all we've got. And so, to get a horse to still be responsive to you after 2 years of training at the fraternity, much less going to the derbies and showing them in the snaffle, I mean, you really have to develop a partnership with your horse to be able to maintain, you know, the respect in your hands and what have you with very limited piece of equipment there, really.
That, and I think like with those 3 events and having to teach those horses so much in such a short amount of time, and to be able to do that with having them still desiring to do it, I think that's where a big part of the horsemanship part comes from too.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think, about our deal, is teaching them to do their job, but still allowing us to have the input to help them. You know, I mean, and that's kind of where it's different from the cutting and the reining. The cutting, basically, that's their job. Then that's all they have to do is do their job, hold that cow. And the reining, they have to just listen to the rider. Where we have, you know, kind of a mixture of the two, and that gets to be kind of tricky, kind of a tricky balance to keep right there. It's a lot of work, and it's really hard right now. Our cattle numbers in the country are, they tell me they're the lowest they've been since like 1955, and they're hard to find. The guys that have them are real protective of them, you know, so you better do a good job of taking care of them cows, you know, no matter what situation you have, whether you're paying to lease the cattle or whether you're getting paid on the gain. There's a few different ways that you can have cattle around, but the common denominator is you better take pretty darn good care of them or you won't get them the next time.
Yeah, once you have that cattle contact, you don't want to do anything to burn that bridge, because that might be the only one you find for a while.
Yeah. Speaking of this year's Derby season, speaking of humility and horse training, yeah, I mean, success, it's just you know, for guys that are struggling, success is just a good horse away, and failure is just a good horse leaving you away too. So we had a pretty rough year in the Derbies this year, but you know, we rode a couple for Boyd in Vegas and just had a little bad luck out there. Sold my 4-year-olds. Old Traveling Jones and Spoonful of Sugar, they turned to 6, and we were kind of afoot for the year. So I've got a 4-year-old by Lena Spark for Kurt Harris that I sure think is going to make a nice 5-year-old. We got to check on him at the Hackmore Classic, which kept me from getting shut completely out of every major event this year. But, so I was sure thankful to have him. I learned a ton in 2013. Yeah, I tell you, the most important thing I learned in 2013 is that winning is highly overrated. You know, it was great and it was good for business and all, but you know, I guess my whole life I thought that's what all you needed to do was win. Well, I got to win a fair bit. You know, I found out there was a lot more important things in life. So, like you know, trying to build a family, and you know, like you say, met Sarah, and my life's been pretty darn good ever since. So
I paid him to say that.
Oh, I mean, shoot! I knew when I was doing good on TJ that it was temporary and it wasn't going to last very long. So I tried to enjoy that for what it was, and tried to enjoy this for what it is. It's you know, gold buckles don't make horse trainers. I think you have to keep learning. You keep learning every day, but you know, obviously your confidence will take a little beating. You know, when you're just getting beat on every time you go out. But we've had some decent luck. I mean, went to some smaller shows. Took the Sua Jewel mare for Eric Story and won a little derby in Nebraska, and just little stuff like that, and get a check, and just kind of focusing on some different things. I entered Traveling Jones cutting down there in Fort Worth, and so that was a big adventure right there that didn't quite work out, but you know what, he was pretty darn good. I felt real good about his showing down there and my showing down there, so we walk away from that heads held high, and try and go get him again. But like I say, winning and losing, it doesn't make much difference. Like I say, I feel pretty good about the program we've got going right now, and excited about the future of it.